NASM is giving you free courses. That's right, free courses each month just for being part of the NASM family. Learn about everything ranging from nutrition to strength, weight loss to stress relief, and everything in between. Click the link in the bio for information and to claim your free course before they're gone.
Hello, everybody. This is Regional Master Instructor Marty Miller here with my dear friend and fellow Regional Master Instructor, Miss Wendy Batts. Wendy, how are you today?
I'm great, Marty. How are you?
Good. Well, I'm excited for this week's Master Instructor Roundtable. And you can see here the heading, NASM Health and Wellness Platform. But Wendy, why don't you kind of throw out there the idea that we came up with and really what we're going to dive into this week?
Well, we do these every week, and oftentimes we see in the comments like, oh, I'm not going to be able to listen to this, or where can I find this podcast at a later time? Or people have other questions that I know we've done webinars on, or some of our colleagues have actually done some amazing work on. And we wanted to make sure that you guys knew about all the resources that we as an NASM provide to you and where they're located, and just some of the fun podcasts, webinars, and some of the actually really exciting stuff that's coming down the pipe. So it's just basically a little bit about NASM's platform and all that you guys have access to.
And you know what really made me excited is, we know the value of the certifications and the advanced credentials, and we'll cover all that. But really, I've always said, and I've heard other people say it, and I stole it from somebody, I'm sure, is your education really starts, it really starts once you're certified, once you graduate, right? Like as you get those credentials, that means you're ready to start. So how do you continually, add value in yourself in the education? And sometimes it can be another formal course, and sometimes it can just be little drippets and snippets of information from other people that have already been there, done it, how you communicate with your peers. And after we put this together, or Wendy, I'll say after you put this together, I was so impressed with actually how much NASM is putting out there to make this information accessible to the NASM family.
And it's not just putting in like a little bit at a time. They're putting a bunch of content out, new content out weekly, as well as offering new courses. And, of course, they provide, a lot of discounts and everything too. So, just to check out some of the new stuff, you definitely want to visit nasm.org, and you can see some of the most recent courses, which I know we're just going to highlight two of some of the many. And if we go, just to the intro slide, you guys are going to see everything that we're going to talk about. So we're, Marty and I are going to go and cover about some of our webinars, like not just our webinars, but in our podcasts, and what are the differences? What are they about? And is it something that maybe strikes your interest? So therefore you can listen to it on your car ride to work or home, or just if you're out on a walk, whatever it is, because I think we, but all of us, have done a really good job because we're very passionate about the content, but then also we get to do amazing interviews, and we try to, kind of look at what's going on in the industry and provide some more specific information about what may be out there. And then, of course, for some of you guys that are newly certified that may not know that, we obviously offer a Facebook group. So we'll talk about that. Then we're also going to talk about an open mic night, which is brand new. And so we'll introduce you guys to that and let you know when the date will be. And of course, we're going to talk about some of our core courses. I know even on today, there were, our Facebook page, somebody was asking, what exactly is the CES? And so just want to make sure when we talk about our quote core courses, you guys feel comfortable with the content that we provide in each course, what it's about, and if it's something that you think will enhance your business as well as your offerings with your clients to maybe be more specific. And then, of course, we do offer something called the NASM Master Trainer. So we'll go into a little bit of detail about that. So, good times. Yeah. Well, Marty, why don't you kick us off? Let's talk about Angie.
Yeah, I think with NASM, if you want to get hired, there's a requirement for a quota of last names Miller, because myself, there's Angie Miller and Ken Miller, and no, we're not related. So we're going to start off here with Angie Miller. So she's, been in the industry for a long time, and, she's really gotten herself a strong niche. She's certified personal trainer. She's got a lot of things going for her, but she really likes, and her background is that mind-body connection. So why would we not want to utilize somebody like Angie, who understands our market, understands the personal training industry. But so she really wants to look at that mental and physical state. And this is something she's been passionate about for a long time. So you can see here that, she is one of our master instructors, and she's a health therapist. So, which is really a diverse background. So she's going to get into the content on how to balance and enhance both of these important factors, whether it's, the mental and the health, bringing these things together. So, we all have stresses every day. Wendy, you and I talk all the time. I know what it's like for you with your work schedule and your, young child, and the craziness with my travel schedule. So how do we balance all of that external stress that we face as, fitness enthusiasts, but then also how do we get into the gym and, not let that distract us in our everyday life and keep ourselves mentally focused, so that way we can have the energy and the ability to go out and take care of our physical being. So, you can see here that it's on Facebook, YouTube, and all the our favorite streaming devices. You can find Apple, Google, Spotify, iHeart. So I just think it's a nice thing to add in there when you can get to it, because it's not just about the muscles. It's not just about movement systems. We have to keep, that mindset strong as well.
And I think she does Angie spends a lot of time on this, guys, and the information and content she provides, it's really just about being better within yourself. How can you be a better trainer, and, ways to think about some of the stresses that your clients come to. So it's kind of like changing the positions of putting yourself in their shoes, but then also realizing that you have to take care of yourself too. So find your own, your self-worth, and being able to, like you said, find balance, because it's really hard to do. And she has an amazing craft, and yes. I enjoy listening to her, and she's a fantastic person. I just love her all around. And so we're very lucky to have her, like I said, as an NASM master instructor. She's also been a part of AFA for many years. So she is a very well-rounded employee to have, and a really good
and it's
friend.
her passion too, and you can see it comes out, so it's enjoyable to listen to her because it's second nature for her, but you can you hear the passion she has for this topic.
Oh yes, and just tune in and you'll see. So if you guys need to check out Angie, if you haven't, again, like Marty said, look at your streaming devices, download a couple, listen to some of the different topics and titles, and I'm sure you'll really enjoy it. And then that brings us into Random Fit.
The other Miller.
I know. So I'm telling you, I'm surrounded by Millers, but I wouldn't have it any other way. But I actually do a podcast with Ken Miller. So we co-host Random Fit. And as the name suggests, it is about random fitness topics that cover everything from different types of movies. We've gone into a lot of the new products that are out there. We've had some of the top CEOs on our podcast. And then we've talked about everything from like fitness, fashion, thinking about how did we come from track suits and leotards to the athleisure wear that we wear out in public day to day, like it's, our business suit, if you will. So it's super fun. I love it. Because we try to say, okay, listen, these are do's and don'ts at the gym. Here's things to think about. And then we bring in some history and try to kind of think about where we started in fitness to where we are today. So if you have not had a chance to listen to any of our podcasts, this is a selfish plug. Please do. I think they're so fun. And again, Ken is amazing. And he is another one of our regional master instructors. So he comes with a wealth of knowledge and super dear friend to me. It seems like all of you guys, like you're like family. But again, we try to bring some different perspectives to the forefront. But you can download any of our podcasts anywhere that you listen to, your streaming devices. So Apple, Google, Spotify, iHeart. And we also premiere these on our NASM Facebook page under the video tab. So if you want to see any that we've talked about, for example, our very first one was on Rocky. So it was basically the differences between, basically we're looking at machine-based and country strong, and who was the winner. As you know, if you don't, you should tune in and learn more about that. But yeah, so hopefully you'll be able to download that and you would enjoy it as much as we like to do it.
And, even before we get going too far, if there's a certain topic that we haven't covered in all these, and there's a lot of content, so feel free to let us know. But on occasion, you might be like, hey, I'd love to hear or see this. You'll have our contact information at the end. And if it's not the stuff that Wendy and I do, we'll make sure we pass that along to whomever topic we think is the most appropriate. So feel free to give us some suggestions, but there's a lot of content out there, but we will always take great suggestions for more content ideas. So you want me to jump into Rick's here? So a lot of you know Rick Ritchie. He's been with NASM almost as long as Wendy and I have. So and Ken's been around the whole time. So you guys have been stuck with us for a long time. But Rick is doing a great job. He was the first one out there with the podcast. So he's got the NASM CPT podcast. Was it been over 2 years now, Wendy?
Well, I know that, I'm not even sure. I know he hit it hard during COVID for sure when the pandemic hit. So he was doing a bunch and, and just not only that, but he's been able to get incredible guests on his show. Mm-hmm. And I think when you look, especially if you're like us, Marty and I are research nerds. So we like to know, okay, what does the research say? And how did this come, how did all this come together, and tell us what you know. And so he's been able to really bring in some amazing people. Plus Rick's just all around. He's an amazing, yes, he's a wonderful speaker. He, there's a lot of humor. He's obviously, he's just a lot of fun, but he also, talks a lot about the NASM, OPT model and how do you build your career? And, he really tries to help, kind of just bring it all back together and, takes you on this fitness journey that you're, that you're able to.
He's done a nice job too of, obviously he's gone through the content, but he's had such success with it. He's been able to go on the periphery of things that are still part of the curriculum per se, but we could just never always cover that in one certification. And he, as you said, Wendy, he'll tie it back into where does this fit? What's the future? This is something new, or, there's always great little nuggets of information to be able to take away. I totally agree.
Yes. And again, he also can be found on the NASM, the CPT Facebook page or NASM's homepage. If you go under videos, everything is under videos, and you're going to see, not just like all the podcasts that we're talking about as well as some of the other content that we're going to cover, but, there's little tips of how to do something, the how-tos, or, different cueing suggestions with some different exercises that maybe you haven't thought about. And it's always fun to see things in a video because it allows you to say, oh, okay, because it's hard when you're looking at a still picture. And if you're not part of like the NASM Edge, or, you don't go to YouTube and look it up, it's actually a kind of a one-stop shop. So you can get the webinars, you can get the podcast, and then you can also get some incredible videos on the how-tos.
Absolutely.
Yes. And then I'll take this one. This one is a fitness and wellness class. So this is basically where you can take the best practices and techniques and think about where they fit into the fitness community as well as just the wellness industry as a whole. And what's really cool about this one that's kind of a little bit different. The other ones we're just talking and providing you information. This one allows you to earn continuing education units. And so I think that makes it a little bit different. And there's a whole bunch of different topics that you can find and see which one best fits your interests. So it's not just about you being a trainer, but it's also about like as trainers as a professional, like when you're a professional as a whole, like how can you build your business? How can you better yourself in certain aspects? And so if you want to do some of these for continuing education units, you should definitely check it out. These premiere on Mondays at 5 a.m. Eastern, so super early. And then again at 8 o'clock. And so when you're thinking about this too, they can be found on Apple, Google, Spotify, as well as iHeart. So check it out.
Agreed. And then, hey, what do you know? Our Master Instructor Roundtable is here.
Yes.
So clearly, if you're watching this, you've either stumbled into this for the first time, or that every Thursday at 3 p.m., Wendy and I get together and we talk about something, generally speaking, related to one of the NASM courses. Not always. Depends on the content and sometimes the requests we get from the people that are watching it. But what we want to do is we want to kind of really jump into a particular topic, and we like to maybe even do like a series. We just did deconstructing the squat, and we did, we've got a couple other topics I'm looking right up on my board here that we're going to discuss. But the key thing here is, how do we continually add value to show you how diverse the whole NASM continuum is? And, we've been talking about this, what now, Wendy, for a year and some change, and we're still not out of information, right?
No, and I think we'll probably will talk forever about anything NASM OPT for sure.
Exactly.
And if you don't know this, you will soon learn that Marty and I love the squat to row, and it is truly about the assessments. So
exactly. And stabilization, right? And bridges.
Exactly. But I mean, they're a lot of fun, and this is truly where we like to get your feedback. What are topics that you feel that you may be struggling with? And if there are topics that we haven't covered, or if we can go into more detail, then we will be more than happy to do so. So we welcome your feedback. We really appreciate your feedback. I mean, there was someone that was asking about the squats, and for 3 weeks, we made it a 3-series squat, basically topic, just so we could make sure that we did a true dive in and, on anatomy, what you're working, why you're working it, do's, don't, risk versus benefit, and execution. And then as well as provide you with some exercises that still are part of a squat, but will help you become even stronger and better at a squat. So as an example, as you mentioned. But you can also find us again on our Facebook page or anywhere that you listen to podcasts as well. And Marty, tell us about your comment.
I'm going to go back actually, and I got to give, just because this was kind of ironic how this stumbled into this. So going back to the first Optima, they're like, hey, we need an idea for one more session. And I forgot exactly who I was talking to at the time. It was one of the business development. I said, I got an idea. And they're like, what? I said, just put me in a room and let me talk. And they're like, no, seriously, we need a topic. I said, no, you don't. I said, when we do all these live workshops, people just want to be able to ask us questions as it pertains to them. I said, just throw me in there at 6 o'clock, give them some coffee, and I promise you we'll have a good time. And lo and behold, that was the very first Optima. And I'm not saying this because I was in the room leading it. It became one of the most popular conversations because everybody wants to know what we're presenting, but they also want to know how it applies to them. So truly, this is where this idea came from, was I'm not coming in scripted. I'm just here to answer your questions and let you know how, to the best of my knowledge from the science that I've learned and or my opinion being in the industry for so long, how I can help you. And, we've done it every Optima now. And I think there's 3 or 4 different versions of the coffee talk. So when the pandemic hit, we needed to communicate live. So that's why we do it on Instagram Live, because that way, it's truly jump on, ask your questions, let's have a conversation. And I've had so much fun with it because of the fact that it's not something that I script. It's truly whoever shows up, we address their questions, and I have follow-ups with them, or, sometimes I shoot them an email or a call afterwards because, sometimes it's a little longer conversation. But truly, every week Tuesday at 9 o'clock, I jump on, hijack the NASM Instagram, and we just hang out and talk. And I think we come up with some really cool, fun topics that sometimes it's for the other pieces that we're showing, but it's just those little nuggets that we can interact, and I just have a blast with it.
And this is where I want you guys to actually, tune in and hammer Marty. Try to stump Marty. That's
I'll admit, I'm like, hey, that's a great question. I'm gonna go back and find out. But
well, we don't know it all, but we know a lot of really smart people. So if we don't know it, I know exactly that we have the perfect person to contact. Probably it's each other. Like Marty will call me, or I'll call him and say, what do you think? So
and if you miss them, they do have them up afterwards, so you don't have to catch it live. But I do enjoy when people are there live.
Yes. And this, again, this is something that we have been offering now to anyone that is NASM CPT certified. And all you will do is go onto Facebook, and you will find, as you can see, this is what the header looks like. And you will have to ask to join. We check your credential to make sure that you are up to date. And then it's truly just a community Facebook page that offers so much valuable information, because you're not just getting answers from myself and Marty, and we have a bunch of different quote admins, which are our master instructors. But we also have Michelle Ricker on right now. She's a RD. We have obviously people from NASM corporate on. And so if you guys ask questions, we do everything in our power to provide suggestions and feedback, especially if they're one-offs. You know, we get a lot of people that are saying, I just started and I'm nervous. And so we're there to offer support. We want you guys to know that we really do care, and we have all been there. We have all been there. And, you know, and again, if there's somebody that is in the industry that is part of this Facebook community that can help out, there are so many great people involved on this page, and our community of NASM trainers. And it doesn't matter if you're CPT, CS, PES, anyone that has all of our specializations and certifications, they offer some amazing insight and some valuable information. So hopefully, if you are not a part of our Facebook group, that you will become one, and you can see all the value that that's right there at your fingertips. Just type
great
away.
Way to network as well. I think there's over 12,000
Yes.
people in there right now. So it's amazing the different conversations that go back and forth.
Yes. And this I am super stoked about. I personally will be doing the very first open mic night, if you will. And this mic night is all about our community. And so if you are part of the NASM Facebook group, that's why we want you to be a part of it, then you are going to have access to join join us on May 18th. It's going to be at 7:00 Eastern, so 4:00 Pacific. And basically, we're opening up the floor and we're allowing you guys to ask me questions, or you can ask each other questions. We really just want to bring the community together and know that we are there to support you. And we want to find out if there are certain topics you want us to cover. Now, if you have specific questions like, hey, I've called and left this message, like I can't help you with that. However, if you just want to, like, I just want to get to know you guys. I want you guys to get to know each other, and I just want to bring it all together. And so I'm so excited, and I really hope you guys join in or tune in that night. And again, it's exclusive for our members on the Facebook group page. So please make sure that if you are not currently a member, that you will be, so you can have access. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So not scripted either. It's a little bit different than the coffee talk. It's really about the community. And let's see.
You're saying is this is my opportunity to send people in to hammer you then, is what you're saying?
Yes, I guess.
Okay.
But
Good to know.
But no, it's really just about, if you want to have a beverage in hand, I'm not going to judge. However, I think it's going to be a really good way to really try to bring our community together, get to know more about our trainers. And like you said, it's great for networking. It's going to be great for marketing. And if I don't know the answer and somebody else on that, that joined in, that's their niche and they want to, give their 2 cents, all the power to you. So we're going to have fun, see how it goes. So tune in.
Awesome. Absolutely.
Yes.
I will be there.
Oh, there you go. See, join Marty and I. That way I can pass it on to Marty if I don't know. But so Marty, our core, and I know you and I call it core. So we're not, This isn't something that you're going to find on NASM when you go to nasm.org. If you type in core classes, or courses, this is not going to show up. But to me, we have the core 4, and these are what we have turned that. So do you want to kind of go into some of them?
Sure. So these are in a way, I'll start with the 3, the CPT, CES, PS. These are kind of, in my mind, the essentials if you want to have a long career in fitness. From there, you can have different specializations. We talked about what Angie does. We can talk about nutrition and things like that. But when Wendy and I went through the content initially, the CES was the first phase. Then it was the next 5 phases that you would learn in the Certified Personal Trainer course as of today and for the last a lot of years. And then the PES was the top. So we learned all 7 phases. And the reason it was broken apart was there was so much content for the CES, so much content for the PES. And really, when we went through the accreditation, what we're trying to establish is, what does a brand new personal trainer need to do day one? Well, you don't need to be specialized in corrective, and you don't need to be specialized in performance at that point. So when you look at, as you develop your career, Wendy and I will both, Ken Miller will all say at some point, we truly believe that you do want the bookends, which is the CES and the PES. You can do amazing work if you get your Certified Personal Trainer course and you stop there. But so many people are going to have some need for correctives, and having that ability to elicit more power out of somebody, no matter who you train, is important. So that's where you'll find that we really do value all 7 phases of the model. Now, over the last year, just a little over a year, they came out with a certified nutrition coach, which matches how NASM does their education. They went out and got the best research, the best content, and the best people in the industry. And now we have the certified nutrition coach. As we all know, we can't out-exercise a bad diet, and everyone wants to understand how to eat healthy and what the different type of diets are that are out there. So if you want to be able to ever have those conversations with your clients and or offer a different service, it's truly a valuable resource is to have that certified nutrition coach. From there, you can find other specializations that you want to go down as you're looking for continuing education. But these are the 4 that we would say are essential to truly being well-rounded within the industry.
And to go into a little more detail, because I did get a question about this on the Facebook page, there was somebody that says, what exactly is a corrective exercise specialist? I mean, most of you guys are CPTs, that's why you're here. And so, as Marty said, phases 1 through 5 are really going to help you build your business and become a very successful personal trainer, as well as, a personal coach or virtual coach, whatever it is that you want to do, because we have given you the foundation. But with the corrective exercise, as Marty said, as it used to be, quote, our true phase 1, it's literally taking your assessment and breaking it down. So instead of saying that it's, the adductors that are causing your knee to cave in, it's like, okay, knee cave in, it's more knee valgus, and it could be due to your adductor magnus on the posterior side or something like that. So it goes into more detail about the anatomy and specifics of truly how someone moves to correct it without being like, it's more specific than general. And that's why they originally took it off. Now, it's not that they hammer you home on origin and insertion. However, they do want you to really get a good grasp on the prime movers. And if you want to take it a step further in your assessment, not just do some of the transitional movements, such as the overhead squat or single leg squat, they give you some ideas on how to do, quote, mobility assessments. So really trying to determine, was the compensation caused mainly because of the overactive muscles that were causing that, or was it because the underactive muscles allowed it? So it really kind of starts to bring it together so you're more specific in your programming. I think the CES truly is a game changer. I'm a huge fan of the CES because it really does differentiate me a little bit than some of the other trainers because of how specific I am. But because I also work with more more elite clients, meaning some clients that, for example, are in the NBA, it's important that I have my PES as well, because I need to get them as powerful and as strong as possible when they're in the off season before they go back into their season. And so the PES, I mean, that's what I got my master's in. That was like my true passion. I think having the 7 phases or the 5 and then the 2 bookends, as Marty said, it really can be super beneficial for you. So as you continue your education, as Marty said, really having a complete foundation and a well-rounded program, no matter what client that walks in your door, whatever their goal is, you know that you can successfully get them to that in a realistic and systematic progression or progressive way. I think that really says a lot about you. However, you've got to find out what your niche is, where you feel like maybe your weaknesses are. But I truly believe that the CPT, the CES, and the PES, as Marty said, those are pretty essential. And then the CNC, just so you guys know, it is pretty challenging. Like, nutrition is not my forte. I'm one of those that, like, I always seek out to an RD when people are asking me. I can do the basic macronutrients. But when I took the CNC, I truly learned a lot. And as Marty said, when you're talking about, quote, diets, it's not that it tells you like this, that, and the other. It gives you an idea of what are these diets? What is the differences between a keto diet or Mediterranean diet? And so it allows you to learn more about what's out there. And then on a behavioral standpoint, how you can change or help someone change their way of thinking about food. But it also keeps us within our scope of practice. And so, so if you haven't checked that out, it's challenging, but it is full of a tremendous amount of information that, to me, I found very, very beneficial.
Yeah, it was a great course. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yes, it was hard for me. I can OPT it all day, but I'm like, oh man, I gotta study for this one.
That's right. So I can head to this one. Yeah. So, virtual coaching has been around, but clearly the pandemic, hit fast forward on a lot of things, right? So having the ability to take, the way I describe it is 3-dimensional information and now teach it 2-dimensionally, right? There's a skill that you have to learn. Again, Wendy and I had to go from teaching live to teaching virtual. Right? It's just, you don't just sit down in front of a computer and have the same presence and the same abilities. So this coaching course is really, or the specialization is really important, because I think virtual is here to stay to some level. I know people will get back in front of the gym. Now, some trainers hate virtual and they only want to do in person. Great. That's you defining your business. But a lot of people want to have the ability to do a little bit of both, or some just want to do virtual. So why not learn from the experts? Just like we did with the CNC, we went out and found people that had been doing virtual, that knew how to create a beautiful course to help speed up people's learning curves for people that now want to go virtual. So you can see here, as part of the specialization, you learn how to conduct and modify your assessments online, queue your clients online, run your business digitally, which I would have to learn, implement effective sales and marketing strategies, and so much more. So it's not just about how to train somebody, it's the entire business of being a virtual coach. So I really believe that this has been a great addition and was forced to go faster due to the fact that we hit 2020.
Yeah. And I think, it teaches you a lot about camera angles. It teaches you about communication and follow-ups and how do you help someone that's really not technically savvy, because I know, my dad's 80 and I tell him, hey, no, do this with your phone. No, do this with your phone, or do this with your computer. And he's like, what? He has no idea what's happening in the world. And so, how do you communicate with someone on the other end that really has specific goals, and you want to be their support system, and you want to see them move, feel, and hit goals, move better, feel better, and hit their goals. And so the virtual coaching specialization, it is new. It is something that's worth 1.5 CEUs. It's not that you have to continue your education with that, but I think, it allows you as a trainer, if you're not comfortable yet with either doing hybrid or doing virtual coaching, I think it really does provide some valuable information. So
it's a great course.
Yeah, check it out. And then, of course, we have the weight loss specialization. This one's also new, and this one's worth 1.9 CEUs. And again, it does not expire. It's more continuing education for you. And this really does help you do more behavioral coaching with someone that has weight loss, goals in mind, which I would say is a majority of clients that come in. They want to feel better. They want to move better, but they also feel like they need to lose X amount of pounds. And how can you help them? And so, there's so many obstacles in the world that people are going to face. I'm sitting at home more, I'm in front of the computer more, and all this. So it's like, how do you, as a trainer, help someone specifically with these goals, but then also that have been struggling with weight their entire lives? And so I think that is a fantastic course for you guys to take or look into if that's where your passion is. And I don't know, I like it. So I don't know what else I can say other than you should check it out, because it's all really good information.
Absolutely. And again, just even being sensitive to people who do need to lose weight if you've never had to lose weight, right? So those are sometimes the little details we miss because we're so focused on the exercise. So I think that, again, if you're going to deal with anybody that needs to lose weight, as Wendy said, it's probably going to be a majority of your clientele. Even though you're going to run them through the model, I think there's a lot of great information in there.
Yeah. And people are going to hit plateaus. And what happens when that happens? Because, it does happen. So just like in your workouts, we always said the SAID principle, you get what you train for. If you train for the same thing, your body gets accustomed to it and you don't see change. And so that's the same thing. And I think that is a really good program for you guys to take if that's where you find as a trainer, you are struggling to provide really good information. So.
Yep. Now we're off to the master trainer. So I'll
Yes.
kick it off because we're both passionate about this one for sure. So here we had a lot of people that were looking for that next level of education and that next credential and to separate themselves. And really this was created because it's not only have you gone through our content, can you come in front of us? So myself, Wendy, and Ken are the ones that grade people on this. And can you perform now hands-on in front of us? Do you know the model cold? Can you go through the assessments and create the right programming? So that's what we do. But what we're looking for here is somebody that's been in the field for a minimum of 3 years. This isn't something you want to roll right into right after you knock out the credentials that we need for you to sit for it. So 10 or more client hours per week utilizing the model. And that's going to be important because we are going to grade you for that term master as if you know the model inside and out, and you can put it into practice with whomever we give you as your client. So you have to have all the requirements before even purchasing it. So you can't just do it without it kind of being screened by NASM. So the summit here, so you have to attend an NASM workshop. Again, obviously we're hopefully getting back to our live workshops here very soon. And if we have to do virtual, we'll communicate that. Have to be currently valid with your NASM CPT, then have the CES and PES plus one or more NASM specialization. So it's showing that you have a passion for ongoing knowledge. And then, or with an approved college degree. So you can see the requirements here. I think this is an awesome experience because most people tend to learn by themselves. They're going through the course by themselves. They're going through the book by themselves. And, you know, they learn a lot, but it's a lot different when you come in front of us and see it through our eyes. So I think it's amazing because people really go back and like, okay, here's where my strengths are, but here's a couple things I need to work on. And then Wendy, I know you got a lot of input on this, and then maybe we can talk about what this allows people to do after the fact.
Well, yeah. And as Marty said, it's a way to continue your education. But I know even as myself, it was like, okay, I've got all this knowledge. I've taken all this NASM stuff. And then what's next? And so we felt like, the master trainer would be what's next because you've been involved in our NASM community. You understand the model, or you wouldn't have taken the quote 7 phases, with the 5 and the bookends. And then, of course, taking some of the online classes or in-person classes, or even online workshops. And so one question that Marty and I get very often is, well, what can I do to become a master instructor? What does it take? And the thing is when we're eventually looking for master instructors, which I am going to go ahead and say, we are not currently looking for master instructors. However, there are going to be times when some of our instructors can't make it, or we need to bring in and have more master instructors available, especially across the country. And if you want to be able to teach workshops and be able to deliver the content, then we are going to choose people from the master trainer pool. Plus, when we do Optima, when we need someone to write some blogs for us, or if they want to be a part of our content development, or they want to do anything that's NASM, where we're actually paying you to develop content or teach our content or do something, then you must be a master trainer in order to do that, because we know that you really understand the content. Now, again, we do have subject matter experts that are not part of this. Like, again, we get some of the people that pretty much own the industry in specific topics, and we bring these people in. However, I think there were so many amazing people that presented at Optima there weren't just us. We're bringing you guys in because some of you guys have your niche in these specialties that are amazing. And we want our NASM family to be able to listen and learn from you as well. So as Marty said, you go through the requirements and you enroll. And so what will happen next is there is a virtual component, and there's pre-work that you have to do. So you will, fulfill those requirements. It is specifically about training. There is some specific things that are involved there. And then you come and you do now it's going to be virtual, but usually a 1 or 2 day live event in front of us. And we're there to work with you, provide information, ask you questions. And as Marty said, that's how we grade you. We want to know how comfortable you are with the content. And then, of course, there is like a quote final test that you would take. And then if you pass, you become a master trainer, you get some fun gear. And when we go to Optima, we have a master trainer luncheon. You get to know a lot of people on our staff. You get to spend time with the master instructors. It's truly a fun event. And again, it opens up more of our family and gives you just another look into, I don't know, just more of the NASM life.
I really highly recommend it because, again, Wendy, you and I both came from degrees where we had to be judged hands-on, and this gives that opportunity. So,
yes.
But as we wrap things up, man, there's a lot of content that's coming out every week, and there's a lot of content for people to advance their career. And we didn't even get into Optima and all those fun things. But Wendy, do you want to kind of walk down the key takeaways?
Sure. Guys, always keep learning. As you know, education is key. In order to maintain your CPT, you must have at least 2.0 or 20 hours of continuing education every 2 years in order to maintain your certification. And you worked so hard to get it. It's so easy to maintain it as long as you continue your education. And so we were wanting to provide you guys with a possible podcast that you could get some CEUs on or some courses to consider, and letting you know kind of a deeper look into what all is involved in some of these specialized courses. Like I said, available resources. I love to listen to podcasts. It's I don't have to think. I have someone just teaching me stuff without me having to read a book or look at something. I can just walk my dog and learn. So I think that, just download any of them that you find interesting, and hopefully you will enjoy them. I mean, I know Marty and I really enjoy doing them, as well as, like I said, Angie and Rick, and just everyone. They have done an amazing job. Think about your next steps. And we have done multiple webinars on professional growth, and the way that you're going to grow in this, and in this industry, is by learning from others and building your network. And so, come be a part of this community event that we're going to have on May 18th. I would love to see you there. Be a part of Marty's Coffee Talk. Ask questions, because even though it's, well, I have a question about this client, then hit Marty up every Tuesday and ask him that I don't know what to do with this client. Like, use him as a resource. Come and meet our community through me and some of the other master instructors. Because again, it won't be me every week or every time they do this. And I don't know if it's going to be monthly. I don't know how they're going to structure it. I just know this will be the first one. But we want to be a support system. So allow us to be, use us. And then, think about specializations, certifications that you want to, get involved in to increase your ability to get more detailed in specific areas. And, if you want to eventually become a master instructor, or you want to be a part of the master trainer team, look into the Master Trainer Summit. Look into what it takes in order to get yourself that step further. And then there's something that we didn't talk about, but I wanted to make sure that I listed it here. NASM offers a connected platform. And now this is a subscription platform, so there is a cost, but it offers all kinds of continuing education for you, whether you want to listen to previous Optima sessions and conferences. There's a bunch of different options and topics and specific information available on this platform where you can earn your CEUs. And so if you haven't heard about it, then just go to NASM.org, look it up, and you can truly find out if it's the right move for you. One other thing that we do have as well is the NASM Edge app. I didn't put it on here, but it's an awesome app that NASM has provided that allows you to build programs for your clients. And there as you can pay, I think it's free if you want to just try it out and see what you think, or there's a really small monthly membership that you would pay, but your clients get it for free. I use it. I love it. I design programs. I can check in on my clients. I know if they've logged in or not. So there are just a ton of different resources. And so that's one of the reasons we wanted to do this, is because we wanted to make sure that you guys knew that there are so many different avenues. You just have to go in there and figure out which one's right for you.
Absolutely. And everything's there, and it builds off the foundation of why you chose NASM, which is awesome.
Yes. And be a part of our Facebook.
Absolutely. So I know we'll get some good questions, but Wendy, if you want to put in your contact information in case there's questions that come to you directly.
Yes. If you want to contact me directly, you can email me at wendy.batts@nasm.org, or you can find me on Instagram at wendybats. 13.
Awesome. Then my information will come up here in a second. So my email is marty.miller@nasm.org. And then Instagram, dr.martymiller72. So Wendy, as always, thank you so much for all your hard work putting this together and being here each
Teamwork,
week.
dude.
The teamwork. That's right. Teamwork. Then I'm excited. I'm not going to give any hints yet, but we got some really cool content coming out next week. So we look forward to seeing you then. Thank you, everybody.